Hello, my beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Empowered Souls podcast. If this is the first time you land here in my YouTube channel, I have been recording a podcast which is called Empowered Souls, but this is the first time I do it with video. And if you're listening to this in a podcast platform, if you've been following the podcast, know that if you prefer to see the video, which is feedback I have received, some people prefer to see the video, it will be on YouTube. So today's episode is about why you're doing a lot of healing, but you're not seeing results or changes in your life. And this is something very common. A lot of people come to me saying, you know what, I've done a lot of healing. I've done tons of inner work. I've done all the inner child. I've done all the shadow work. I've done all of that, but still I can't see improvement. I can't see results. My business is still not working. I still don't have a partner. I still have a bad relationship with my family. I still don't feel good. What else do I need to do? And before we start and go into the reasons, let me describe how I see the healing and self-development process. So when I follow the Empower method, which is a step-by-step process that I follow with my one-on-one clients, there are three main areas. The main one is awareness and direction, having a clear direction of where you want to be heading, what you want your life to look like that you don't have right now. The second main area is, around healing, going to past trauma, to past events, heal that, clear that, revisit where any limiting beliefs or negative self-talk, where that comes from, and heal that and going to the root of that. And the third main element will be about really connecting with our inner treasures, building our confidence, developing self-love, believing more in ourselves, letting those skills and talents and gifts come to the surface. So if you think about it like a garden, the first thing you want to do, if your garden is a bit of a mess and you want to make it look pretty, the first thing you need to do is know how you want your garden to look, right? Direction. You have to decide if you want space to grow crops, if you want to plant lots of flowers, if you want a tree in the middle, if you want to have an open space, to have chairs, or to just sit on the grass, whatever it is. Direction, a vision, right? And then, if the garden is a mess, you will probably need to do a lot of weeding, healing, right? We clear what doesn't serve us, what's stopping us from growing, right? But if you stop there, if you do all the weeding, all the healing, but you don't plant any seeds and you don't water them and you don't feed them, nothing's going to grow. Yeah, you're going to have a very clean patch of grass without weeds that is going to look very clean and tidy, but nothing's going to grow there. And this is exactly the same. And I think this is an active process. This is an active part or an active step that you need to take if you actually want to see improvements in your life or changes in your life. And I think it's very often overlooked. And that's why a lot of people get stuck in the healing, but then and it's great to give space, and it's necessary. Don't get me wrong, this is necessary and one of the main things we need to do. But if we stop there, then it's like, right, we've done all the weeding, and now you're expecting to have a beautiful garden full of flowers and crops and trees. But if you don't plant the seeds and if you don't nurture the seeds, nothing's going to grow in there, despite having cleaned all the weeds and doing all the design. So I want to share with you 4 main reasons why you might feel like you're doing a lot of healing and a lot of inner work and you still feel blocked on or you're not seeing results. So the first one is not having a clear direction. And I see this again and again. You do a lot of healing, there are lots of painful or unpleasant experiences that left an imprint in your life, and you focus on that, but you don't have a clear vision. you don't set intentions. And this is where a lot of the visualizing, manifestation work is very, very powerful. And it would be like sitting in a car. Imagine you're complaining because you want to go on holidays, but your car is broken, right? And you're sitting in the car and you're right, I'm going to fix the car. Yeah. So you do a lot of healing. You heal the car, you fix the car, and now the car is working. And you're sitting in the car and you're like, right, I'm still not on holidays. Why am I still stuck here? Well, if you don't have a clear idea of where you want to go, do you want to go to the beach? Do you want to go to a city? Do you want to go to the countryside? Where do you want to go? Do you want to go to one place? Do you want to go to many in 1 week? How long do you want to go for? So sometimes maybe you have done the healing and you are ready to move forward, but having that sense of direction, knowing your values, what's important for you, identifying what areas of your life are not working, but not only how they're not working, but how you would like them to be, right? So what are your goals, short-term, long-term? Doesn't mean that they need to be set in stone. They can change, they can be flexible. But having a clear direction is super important. A lot of people don't want to spend time on this part of the process because they want to go straight to, the healing, the shadow work or whatever it is. But having a clear direction is very important. So a question I'm going to invite yourself to reflect on is, where do I want to go? How do I see my life? Think of the areas of your life that are important. For example, what I have right now in front of me is a piece of paper, and I have areas that are important for me: health, family, work. It could be having fun, it could be traveling, it could be spirituality, it could be whatever it is for you. And I have those areas, and I have a very clear description of what what I want to see, the direction I want to be taking. If I ask you, right, okay, so imagine family is a very important area for you. And I ask you, right, so in a scale of 0 to 10, where are you right now? And you said, 6. A lot of room for improvement. Perfect. So what would it need to look like for it to be a 10, right? And it's important to have that that vision, so you can do the intention setting, manifestation work. And again, it doesn't mean that you have to be set in stone. It can change with time, but it is important. And also, without direction, it's very difficult to take active steps, right, towards achieving your goals. So having a clear direction, super important. Reason number 2 is that maybe you're doing a lot of healing, but you are not going to the root of it. Maybe you haven't identified the root of it. When I work with my clients, I always do very deep work, and I want to go to the root of the problem, which normally comes from the early years of childhood. By the time we are 7, we have decided, the child has decided their life script. So by the time you're 7, you have decided if you're going to be unlucky in love, if you're going to be poor, if you're going to be rich, if you're not going to be successful, if they're going to break your heart. We kind of build based on all the information we've been absorbing those years. And during those years, we are like sponges. We absorb information all the time, and we create beliefs about ourselves, about our family, about the world. We decide if it's safe or if it's not safe, if it's not safe to speak our truth. We make those decisions, and we need to go back then. And I know some experiences can be painful to remember, but I promise you, it's much more painful to live your life conditioned by these experiences. The healing process doesn't need to be painful, doesn't need to be hard. It can be a beautiful, just self-discovery process. And the way I work in my session is very in my sessions is very gentle, is very loving, is with a lot of compassion to those parts of ourselves. And we kind of reimprint the story so that trauma or that past experience is rewired in the brain with new positive beliefs, with a more empowering outcome. So it could be that you have been doing healing, but you haven't gone to the root of it. Another reason is that, like I said before, maybe you're doing a lot of healing, maybe you've gone to the root of it, and you have identified, you have a clear direction of what you want your life to be, but you're not giving space to the parts of yourself that carry the strengths, the skills, your inner treasures. So same as the way to heal is to give space to those parts of ourselves that have been wounded, that have been hurt, that have had a tough experience, a painful experience, and we give those parts of ourselves space and time and love and compassion. We also need to give space and time and love and compassion, and we have to nurture those parts of ourselves that have the confidence, the power, the wisdom, your unique skills, whether that if you're a coach or a therapist or an artist, whatever you do, your gifts, if you don't give space and time and you don't nurture those parts of yourselves, they're never going to flourish. In the example of the garden, this is where we plant the seeds. You don't want to have just a patch of grass. Very clean without weeds, yeah, but you need to plant the seeds. You need to water those seeds. You need to make sure they have enough light. So in my work with my clients, I do a lot of healing because that's super necessary, go deep. But at the same time, I encourage them to take an active role in giving space to those parts of themselves that have been dormant, because the wounded ones had way more energy and had way more power and were in control. So we need to kind of pass the microphone, right, from the inner critic to the confident part of ourselves, from the wounded parts that now we've dealt with and we've healed with love and compassion, rewriting the story, giving them what they need. Now we have to also give energy and put our focus on those parts of ourselves that maybe they have been dormant all this time because they felt like there was no space for it. And this is a big concept of soul retrieval in shamanism, for example, how parts of ourselves, when there is a traumatic experience or a painful experience, they kind of flee, they kind of dissociate because the experience is so painful, but we need to call them back, right? Healing the trauma or the wound is not enough. We have to invite what they call the grace, right? Our inner treasures. We have to give them space as well. This is a super important process. And everyone has to take an active role. I always encourage my clients to take active steps and an active role in this and talk to these parts of themselves. And we connect with these parts of them in the sessions, but not only in the sessions, every day on a daily basis, water them. Give them feed like you would do to a rose you have in the garden, same way. And the fourth reason, and the last reason I want to share with you today, why maybe you're feeling like you're doing a lot of healing but not seeing the results you thought you would see, is that you're not taking action. And this is so important. So often when I talk to people who say, I still feel very blocked in my business, I still don't have a healthy relationship, I'm still not confident to go out there and do the dance classes I always wanted to do, whatever it is, I always ask them, so what actions have you taken? Well, I have a lot of blocks, you see, because of my family and my past lifetime and stories that need to be healed. Don't get me wrong, I hear you. It's necessary, right? And super important, and well done if you're doing that, right? But other than working on that story, what actions are you taking? Your business is not working. Are you actively promoting it? Are you putting yourself out there? Are you telling everyone about what you do, about your talents? I don't have a partner. Are you going out there? Are you meeting people? Are you open to receiving love? Or I never have fun. I don't have joy in my life. I'm so bored. I don't know what to do. Right. Have you gone to a dance class, to a painting class, to the gym, to whatever it is? And very often the answer is, I could be doing more. And that's the thing, that sometimes we think that healing on its own, and I see this especially in people who want to take a very passive role in their healing and self-improvement journey. And I think it's a big mistake. You can go to Reiki once a week, 3 times a week, if you like, to clear all your blocks and all that. But if you don't take action, it doesn't matter how many healers you go to, how many blocks you clear, how many imprints you clear. You still have to take action to achieve your goals. And there might be a bit of procrastination, but I see this very, very often. And again, manifestation techniques, visualization techniques, affirmations, super powerful, great work. But visualizing having a super successful business full of clients is not going to give you the clients if you don't go out there and do your networking and do your promotion and just put the work in whatever way it is for you, right? So sometimes we think that by healing, and especially when we take the approach of I'm going to go to a healer so they heal me, which I think is kind of the wrong approach. I've seen it again and again, and in my experience is when I move my ass and take action. I've done a lot of healing, don't get me wrong. I'm still doing a lot of healing, still things that come up for me that I clear, but it's when I take action, is when I move my ass and take action and go actively for what I want, that it actually happens in my life. And I do the affirmations, I do the visualizations, I do the healing, I do all that, but I also take action. And I always encourage my clients. And one of the main reasons why I designed the packages, the programs, the way I have them now, with not only the sessions, but with a very close support between sessions, is so they have that accountabilities to encourage them to have an active role in the process. It's not just about going to the sessions and then I'm going to be healed and my life is going to change for me. And I hear this a lot, especially in the spiritual world, when healing is it's more like it takes kind of a passive role, as in I must have something I'm out there that, you know, a block that, and I'm just gonna go to a healer so it clears it for me. And it is very powerful. I'm not saying that doesn't work. I'm not saying that that's not valid. I do use energy healing in my sessions when I come across a very obvious energetic block. But actually, if I said, right, so come to my session and I'm gonna, clear your block, your energetic block, whatever it is, it would be very disempowering for you, because you wouldn't be taking action or responsibility. You wouldn't be owning, it would be like a very passive approach to it. So I think actually it would be a bit that I find that attitude a bit disempowering, and that's why I decided that one of my main focus of my programs was to encourage people to take full responsibility and to take a really active role. And when you do that, oh boy, you see results. That's when things really start to shift. I've seen it myself. I've seen it in my clients. It makes a huge difference. So those were the reasons that I wanted to share with you. Like I said, healing is super, super important, but I know a lot of people who feel that they've done all that, and and the inner work and the shadow work and all that, but they still not seeing the results they expected or they were hoping for. And I think there are a few elements, these reasons, that are important for you to consider. So I would love to hear from you and see if this resonates, if this makes sense, where you are in your journey, if you've done a lot of healing, if you're new to this, if you need to work more on your direction, if you need to work more on unleashing your inner treasures, and this changes with time. For me, for example, after many years, more than a decade in the self-improvement and healing world, very recently I'm finding myself going again to the deep healing, going again to new layers or deeper layers of healing that are ready to come up now. Other periods of my life I'm more focused on goal setting, direction. Other times I'm more about intuition, or kind of using that element to follow my purpose and more connected with that. So it's kind of a circle, and we go through it in different layers. So I hope that was useful. If you like this episode and if you're enjoying the podcast in general, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in our next episode. Sending lots of love and light to you all. Bye-bye.